Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Will alt season begin in July? This coming from Nick Crypto Crusader here. He says, remember what I've said, alt season begins at the beginning of July. The warning signs are there. I feel bad for anyone who can't see how clear the path is. The Ethereum ETF narrative is going to push us into phase 2 of the alt season, and then the fun really begins. You have about 3 to 6 months of up only for alts after that, so do prepare accordingly. What he's posting here is this, guys, the path to alt season. Obviously, we have gone through phase 1 already. Flow of the money moving into Bitcoin, causing prices to surge, and now we're going to get that money moving into Ethereum, especially with that Ethereum ETF coming around the corner. In yesterday's video, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner, I talked briefly about the ETFs possibly being approved on July the 2nd, so that is like 2 weeks away. Phase 3 here would be large caps. Then Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and large caps are going to go parabolic. And then, guys, we've got phase 4, which is alt season, mid to low caps, and micro caps will all tend to pump around the same time. But that will eventually happen when Ethereum passes its all-time high, which it's coming up to very shortly. We still have to see some bigger moves in the space for Ethereum to get up over 38% before we start seeing those moves take place. But, you know, Nick is saying we are going to see this very, very soon, starting in July. And for those of you guys looking for a strategy, because I know sometimes this can get a little bit overwhelming, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for my strategy. I'm going to be posting targets, going to be talking about the altcoin strategy and what my plan is to cash out of my Bitcoin, my XRP, and my altcoins. The $15,000 plus portfolio, all of that is going to be at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Guys, bringing up Bitcoin on the chart here. We can see Bitcoin has been holding. I mean, it hasn't been going further down, luckily for us. This is Bitcoin on the daily. And if I throw Bitcoin on here, let me throw it on the 4 hour. I think you guys can get a better sense of what I'm talking about here. Bitcoin, as of the time of this recording, is holding up support right and around here. So, I mean, I don't know how strong this support is going to be. We could still see it come back down, maybe match some of these levels from back in mid-May. I know a lot of us are hoping that that doesn't happen, that we just continue to move to the upside. This reaccumulation phase has been going on for a very long time now. Comparing this to other reaccumulation phases from previous Bitcoin cycles, after Bitcoin did breach its all-time high, right now one Bitcoin is trading for $66,500 per coin. Vandal here also bringing this to our attention with regards to alt season. He says, we're not even close, guys, to alt season. I hope this gives you a clear picture of our current position in the cycle. Altcoin season indicator very low. Since November 2022, few have surpassed previous all-time highs against Bitcoin. Many cryptos remain minimum 70% below their all-time high right now, and Bitcoin dominance is 56% of the entire crypto market. So all these things, guys, are painting a picture to show that alt season really hasn't taken off yet. I'm going to bring up the total 3 market cap, and I'm going to, I'm going to talk about this a little bit in a second. Let me just finish this tweet here. So altcoin dominance hasn't even reached levels seen in previous cycles. The last bull run peak, Coinbase retail trading volume for quarter 4 2021 was 177 billion. This year, Coinbase retail trading volume for quarter 1 2024 is only $56 billion. So that is still 68% down as well. All these metrics just demonstrating that we still have a lot of time to go. This is still just the beginning. So I'm happy that, these analysts are coming out here discussing this, because I feel like for a lot of you guys who are getting excited after that first Bitcoin pump, you're thinking to yourselves, okay, was that it? Should I sell out now? Did I make the biggest mistake of my life because now my portfolio's down, let's say 15% because I bought it the wrong time? Sentiment is neutral in the space. You guys can see the numbers are also checking out. 24-hour volume is down. We haven't seen too much volume coming through the market as of now. We're seeing a mix of red and green right now. And again, those percentage points are quite low, anywhere between 1 to 5%, generally speaking here. So let's go back to the total 3 chart. I want to show you guys something else. The last halving was mid-May 2020. Or May 20th. When was the last halving? When was the Bitcoin halving? In 2020. Let's just look that up real quickly. May 11th, 2020. So here, let me just throw this. So this is on the 4 hour. Let me throw this back on the daily chart for you guys. And again, this is the total 3 market cap. So this is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And May, let's call it roughly mid-May 2020, was in and around here. What did I say? May 10th, in and around here somewhere. May 10th, May 11th, give or take. And you have to remember, guys, the recent halving for Bitcoin was late April 2024. So we're not even 2 months post-halving yet. So let's call it 6 weeks post-halving. So a month and a half, roughly 45 days, give or take. Let's just be general here. So 45 days. If I were to just bring this and show you guys where we are right now in terms of the last halving and where we are for the total market cap, we have only gone up. Back in 2020, the market did rise about 20%, about 45 days post-halving. But guys, take a look at this. Look at how much more time is left in this market, and look at how many more gains are yet to be had. 1,600% on average. So this is the average tally for gains in cryptocurrencies excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And some cryptocurrencies could go much higher than that. This is why I've diversified in that $15,000 plus portfolio that we talk about over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. So there's another indicator to show you guys there's a lot left in this market to go. Do you remember 3 years ago when the BIS released this paper that showed that XRP holders have the highest education? I remember reporting on this back then, but I thought I'd bring it to you guys if you are feeling a bit down because your XRP is not going up. And this is from the BIS. This wasn't even from some weird source over there on the internet. This is from the BIS. They actually did a poll and a study, a test, trending the most intelligent, I guess, education average by crypto owner. And XRP came out on top, only followed by Ethereum. And then Bitcoin Cash holders, followed by Bitcoin, Stellar holders, EOS, and in the last position, the least educated group were Litecoin holders, unfortunately. Wah, wah. We have critical minds, guys. We can see the light through the trees, or however that saying goes. That didn't sound too intelligent, did it? The other thing we should be paying attention to are the MiCA regulations. So the overall arching crypto industry, I was at a party last night and was talking to some guy who worked at a bank. And I was asking him, so what do you do? He's like, well, I don't do too much of the banking stuff. I work in fintech. And I'm like, oh, I can probably have a conversation with this guy. We started talking. Of course, the first thing out of my mouth is, well, do you guys deal in cryptocurrencies? No, we don't deal in that kind of thing. I go, but you're in fintech. I go, do you know the company Ripple? He goes, no, we don't deal in cryptos or anything related to crypto or anything like that. I go, dude, this is the future and you work at a bank in fintech? Ugh. I was so disappointed to hear that. But, this is just the reality of it. Obviously, there are other regions of the world that are going to surpass North America, and we're going to have to catch up. Circle executives are even saying that the euro stablecoin will begin to boom after MiCA regulations go live, and that's going to happen in about 2 weeks. So this is from Patrick Hansen here, senior policy executive at Circle, and the issuer of the USD and euro stablecoins. He's positive that euro-based stablecoins will continue rising in the coming days. Taking to X, Hansen noted that the number of transactions conducted using euro stablecoins is 1.1%. But that number is going to far exceed that, I'm sure. This figure, the executive noted, is at an all-time high, rising from near zero a few years ago. Although USD-backed stablecoin transactions account for over 90%, this figure will likely shrink as more issuers seek to build out of Europe, issuing Europe stablecoins or European stablecoins. However, the slow progress is drafting and implementing stablecoin laws in the United States is a huge impediment for growth. Thus far, the United States Security Commissioner and its chair, Gary Gensler, has been accused of deliberately ruling by enforcement, so that's what's happening in the US. But it is different in the European Union. After years of refinement, the region is on the cusp of significantly changing its relationship with crypto and stablecoins. The market in crypto assets, or MiCA regulation, a comprehensive framework designed to govern the digital asset market across member states, will be enforceable from June the 30th after being approved in April 2023. So this is what we're going to see starting in Europe, and I think it could help bring the crypto industry, at least the Western world, because it feels like, those BRICS countries are kind of doing what they want anyway. But the Western world, maybe it will bring us into the 21st century. Hopefully, it'll give us some impetus to start riding this crypto wave. Michael Branch here also bringing this up with regards to the Ripple SEC case, $102.6 million penalty. It looks like that is where we're landing here. The SEC commissioner has replied to Ripple Labs' request for a lower penalty in the ongoing XRP case. Ripple suggested a more reasonable penalty of $10 million, drawing a comparison to the Terraform Labs. I reported a little bit on that this past week. The SEC initially sought a final judgment against Ripple for nearly $2 billion. And of course, Ripple's lawyers thought that was ludicrous. The regulator clarified that Terraform Labs have agreed to burn the keys to all of its crypto asset securities, returning a significant amount to investors in those securities, and remove 2 of the board members in charge at the time of the violation. So I guess that's what the agreement that they came upon. But also they're saying that, there still does need to be enough money to pay for compensation for the for essentially for the retail investors that were violated in the Ripple case. Stuart Alderati, though, commenting on this over X. Michael Branch also bringing this to our attention. So Stu says that there are no victims to compensate, adding that his company is currently thriving. Moreover, Ripple's top legal mind claims that the SEC has now abandoned its demand for $2 billion worth of fines and penalties. Last week, the company cited the Terraform Labs case, as I mentioned. So this is just kind of going over some of the same things. But Stuart Alderati was not happy about this. Bill here also commenting on Stuart Alderati's tweet. It is bizarre. I posted yesterday that the SEC shows a strange animus towards Ripple. I guess in the SEC's world, no company should successfully defend itself rather than settle. Ripple has held up in court the SEC's crypto grand strategy for the course of almost the entire term of the anti-crypto Biden administration. Ripple won on key points. It is safe to say the SEC is not happy about what is happening now. So it looks as though, and Sherry did retweet this down here, $102.6 million in penalty. It looks as though that is what we are landing on rather than the $2 billion penalty, which was just ludicrous. Yassine Mobarak also commenting, in the remedy fight, Ripple is in a much stronger legal position than the SEC. Expect a very reduced penalty amount, maybe $50 million to $100 million. Ripple will frame this as a win, which will be accurate. So he was estimating this, I guess, before we got that final sum. Crypto Insight UK here saying, so after all this time, the SEC only asking Ripple for $102.6 million after their initial audacious claims over $2 billion. Suits against Ripple executives and that XRP itself is a security. They dropped the executive suit, lost on the XRP classification, and are now asking for 5% of the initial charge. Ripple has slapped the SEC all over the news and the courtroom. Well done, Ripple. This should be illegal from the SEC, though. They are the ones who've harmed retail here, not Ripple. I do not disagree. I mean, you know, this should be one of those cases that sets precedent for future crypto cases moving forward. You know, the Supreme Court or whoever's in charge should take a look at this and be like, okay, no more of this. This is ridiculous. SEC, you have been overstepping your bounds. And now that's it. That's it for you. No soup for you, you know? We're not playing around. This is no longer a game. And we need to get crypto regs clear for this future financial path that the United States and other countries have to keep moving forward on. 801 Crypto here posting this, okay? Another mention from the Future Matters report. This was a report from a recent Japanese FinTech Festival 2024. So Japan, as we know, very favorable to Ripple and XRP, even highlighting Ripple and XRP in this report from 2024. So this just occurred. Elements of an inclusive digital infrastructure. They give us some categories here. International peer pressure, cyber connectivity. I wish there was more international peer pressure, by the way, to get on board to a financial framework. Pressure being put on the United States. I guess this is happening already in the form of de-dollarization. Maybe that's how they're feeling the pressure. Foundations of global compliance, instant payments, of course, cyber connectivity, and inclusive digital infrastructure. And here you guys can see the transformation in finance is underpinned by initiatives from both the public and private sectors, including regulatory bodies and fintech companies like Ripple. So pointing out that Ripple is one of those companies that has been always focused on the compliance and regulatory education across the world, because, you know, you educate the public, you talk to governments, and in a lot of cases where it is not so socio-political, like it is in the United States and maybe in some parts of Europe, you know, you can kind of get through to these people and they can jump on DLT technology and they can actually be using a better system. Unfortunately, though, in other parts of the world, it is a little more tricky. But in Japan, we know Ripple already very compliant and already being discussed in a meaningful capacity. Ripple's regulatory approval from the MAS, so they just talk about that too a little bit here. Their acquisition of a payment institution license underscores the need for clear regulation, spurring private sector innovation. Regulatory clarity fosters investment in digital assets, or digital innovation, rather, supporting the sector's growth towards efficiency and inclusivity. Though initial compliance costs are high, they yield long-term success with Ripple's business-to-business focus, showing how strategic approaches can reduce end-user expenses, highlighting the value of regulatory investments in the digital financial evolution. So that is big coming out of Japan. So I wanted to thank 801 XRP for posting that. Now, put on your tinfoil hats, folks, because we're going to go down a bit of a rabbit hole. Zoom here on Twitter posting this mind-bending data point, the supposed message J9 got. Now, I do not know who this J9 character is, J9 Dalton. If somebody does know, please do put it down in the comment section. But there were some interesting connections here. I don't know if you guys saw this. I think this was debunked as something that somebody just created because they had an old Mac PowerBook. But this is apparently a note from a time traveler who came back from the year 2040 to Friday, July the 18th, 1997, saying that we should be investing in OpenCoin, okay? So at that time, OpenCoin did not exist, but it did exist a little later. Somebody playing a bit of a joke here. We cannot verify this. But Joshua Dalton here saying, only few of us knew. The thing, though, that I find interesting here is, and he responded to this. Okay, there was a tweet that he responded to. I don't know where this tweet came from, but here's what it says. There is a reason you've been warned several years in advance through various sources at different times. We are not who you think we are, and the message begins here. IOB at 9:31, connection not established. This sounds very cryptic. And then the message ends. Signed, Greff. J9 Dalton did post this. Herman Greff is maybe what that message is referring to, okay? And Herman Greff, guys, the CEO of Sberbank in Russia. That is Herman Greff. Could Herman Greff be that time traveler? Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this was a report from a few years ago. Foreign and Russian expertise or experience of blockchain digitization by central banks for compliance and technologies. In this report, they did say that they were piloting Ripple and XRP technology. Here, let me just scroll down here to find that section. It was right down here. The use of XRP transfers or equivalents for fiat currencies, okay? I did a whole video on this, which I will see if I can find. I'll link up here in the top right-hand corner. At that time, it was the first half of 2018, and the Bank of Russia's Novosibirsk, they were the ones innovating. But if you check this out down here, if I go down here, where was it? You guys can see that, or no, where was it here? It was, right, it was right and around here. Novosibirsk was just one of those banks that was actually testing it, but if you guys caught the title there, this was for the Central Bank of Russia specifically. So a centralized depository system for mortgages and accounting. The most significant project here, Russian project for blockchain technology, is the MasterCard decentralized network of exchanges and storage information. And if you guys can take a look down here, it says the decentralized depository system for mortgage accounting for the financial market was performed on December 19, 2019, after being certified by the MasterCard, by the Master Chain platform. Sberbank and specialized depositories were also part of this project. So another connection here to Ripple and XRP, if they were in fact part of this project, if in fact Herman Greff is a time traveler from the future, CEO of Sberbank Russia, things that make you go, on top of which John McAfee, before he passed, Russia's first time traveler, has returned. Guess what he said in September? Biden is medically diagnosed as unfit for office and quits. Guys, I'm not making this up. Look at what happened just 2 days ago. XRP LeBroccoli here. By the way, let me just reiterate, that was a tweet from John McAfee from back in July of 2020. July 18th, 1997. I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence that the dates match. But anyway, he did post that. XRP LeBroccoli here, or is it XRP LE Broccoli? I don't know. He posted this just a couple of days ago. This is what happened. Former White House physician Ronnie Jackson says Biden is not fit to be commander-in-chief. And here's just an article to support that from Fox News, okay? Posted June 5th, 2024. So what the heck is going on here? Is somebody a time traveler? Really? Was it just a coincidence? Again, guys, this was from 2020, 4 years before, the worst of Biden's ailments have come out in the public. So I am getting a bit curious about this, I gotta say, on top of which XRP VRA posted this, okay? Now, I know I've done videos on this, especially the Mr. Robot episode. I am not going to play this clip for copyright reasons, but I will link this tweet in the description of the video. Basically from an episode of Mr. Robot. They discuss eCoin. They also discuss Bitcoin. They discuss a new financial system. And we know Hollywood likes to put things in plain sight for us. On top of which, you guys remember this? I just did this about a month ago from the 1992 movie Sneakers and the Federal Transfer Reserve Node. And yeah, if you just scroll here, you can see XRP-262. That was in the code from a 1992 film. Hollywood telling us in plain sight. I think it is quite possible. Now, things get even more interesting, guys, when you take a look at this. The Ripple golden ratio, mathematical principle and golden ratio, is that behind Ripple and the fate of XRP. This was Corey Johnson. Back in 2019, he was the chief marketing strategist at Ripple. And back then, this is what he said about the Ripple logo. I just wanted to play you guys this clip real quick. Listen to this.
Golden ratio, all right? So it's symbolized by phi, this Greek symbol. But the golden ratio is it's a math the A plus B over B, when it equals A over B is what? Well, it's about 1.61809897. If you pull out those geometric differences in those circles, you end up with these Fibonacci sequences. Organized a different way, you start to see network structure where you've got hubs and you've got less important hubs in a network. And so out of that, we create a logo called the Triskelion, which is our Ripple logo. But it really does come out of that mathematical principle of the golden ratio.
The golden ratio, you say?
The A plus B over B, when it equals A over B is what? Well, it's about 1.618098.
1.6180, and then he rattles off a bunch of other numbers. But guys, 1.618, that is an interesting number. Those are the first four numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, but also another crazy coincidence. As per Not Financial Advice here on Twitter, on March the 13th, 2015, CNBC's Joe Kernan mentions that he's looking forward to his birthday 3 years away on January 6, 2018, because the date equals the golden ratio, aka the Fibonacci sequence. What else happened on January the 6th, 2018? The golden ratio, XRP, did hit its all-time high. So another interesting coincidence for you guys. Here's the XRP chart on the daily. You guys can see January 6, 2018, and here Not Financial Advice has posted another chart here. The Ripple all-time high occurred about a year later on January the 6th, 2018, when the XRP price rose to about $3.40 on this particular exchange from under 1 cent. So he is asking, are we going to see another all-time high by the year 2118? I sure as heck hope not, but I think there is something to this. I think that, the golden ratio, I think they're telling us something here. Maybe we have to look deeper, though. I mean, even if you just take a look at simple math here, 1 plus 6 plus 18 does equal 25, and 2025 is predicted to be the year the bull run tops, the year that we're going to start to see real-world liquidity enter the market, and the year that everything could possibly change. So will we see a new all-time high for XRP in 2025? I certainly think so, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.